Right, okay guys, if you make sure you've got some space out in front of you, so if you come to the back of your mats we're going to start with today.
Okay.
You'll see all the way over here.
We need camera on or off, Becky?
Shall I turn it off?
Yeah.
That's it guys, get yourself sorted. Okay, so standing on the back of your mat, if you just imagine there's 4 points on your foot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to press evenly down through all 4 points. If you guys just put your cameras on mute for me, because otherwise your background noise, it will switch it over on the recording. Okay, so it's quite low impact today, so if you have got any injuries, just wave your hand and let me know, but there will be options. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to take a nice deep breath. We're going to stretch up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the spine. Then as you exhale, you're going to forward fold. We're going to hold it here in that forward fold. So push your hips up towards the ceiling and aim to get your hands down while keeping the legs straight. And if you need to bend your knees to get down onto the floor, please do. And then we're going to walk our hands out until we reach a plank position, hands under the shoulders. We're just going to hold it here for a few breaths, brace that core, keep your shoulders in line with your hips. Look down at your mat to keep your spine nice and long. And then bend your knees before you start to walk your hands back in towards your feet. And then we're going to nice and slowly roll up the spine. But imagine that you want to keep space between the vertebrae. So really slowly stack those vertebrae. As you do that, and then exhale at the top. Then we're going to go again. So deep breath in. Stretch it up. You can add a back bend here if you want one. Exhale, swan dive down. Forward fold. Breathe down the length of your legs. Bend your knees if you need to get your hands on the mat. And then we're going to walk it back out into a plank. This time we're going to try and hold it a little bit longer. If you struggle with your balance here, you can separate your feet out. That will help. That's it. Nice deep breaths. Really brace that core. Let's switch it on. Yeah, okay, bend your knees, walk your hands back up towards your feet, keep those hips up towards the ceiling, and then roll that spine up. Keep space between the vertebrae. Deep breath in as you do so, then exhale at the top, then we're going to breathe in, stretch it up. Good, exhale, forward fold. So as your hamstrings start to warm up, hopefully you can get a little bit closer to the floor before you have to bend your knees. That's it, really brace that core. Keep it nice and strong. Keep your body in a straight line. Let's see if we can hold it a little bit longer. A couple more breaths here. Good, okay, then bend the knees. Start to walk your hands back in. We're going to do one more just to make sure your spine is nicely warmed up. And use your core. Deep breath in as you roll up. Exhale at the top. One last time. Breathe it in and that back bend in if you can. Exhale, forward fold. Good, walk it out. Let's see how long we can hold that plank for. That's it. If you're struggling, try separating the feet out, or even if you have to drop to your knees, if you keep your weight forward over your hands, you'll still feel that working your core. Good, okay, bend those knees, walk your hands in towards your feet, and then roll it up. Good, okay, take the feet next to each other. So we're going to do some narrow squats. Just going to check above me that I'm not going to hit the lampshade. As we squat down, we're going to bring the arms up, biceps by your ear, tension in the arms, reach them up towards the ceiling, and make sure your chest stays lifted. So we don't want to end up tilting down towards the floor. Look up towards the ceiling. That will help you. So we're going to breathe it in and sit low. Exhale, come up, squeeze the glutes. Yeah, let's go leg there. Go and do that again. Deep breath in, sit it down. Make sure your knees are still tracking the toes and they're not coming out or in. You don't want to internally or externally rotate from the hips. Keep it nice and neutral. Good, and another one. Try and work your hips down a little bit lower every time. Good, and keep your weight in the heels. That's going to get those glutes switched on. Big squeeze of the glutes at the top. That's it, keep that chest lifted. Look up, that will help you. Good, okay, so we're just warming up the legs now. So we've done the outer thighs, we're next going to do the inside thighs. So take your legs nice and wide now. They can come to the outside of your mat. That's it, good guys. Turn your toes out slightly. When we come down, we want the knees to follow the toes. Imagine you're pushing the floor away. Then you squeeze to lift up. Good. So we're going to squeeze, push, sorry, and then squeeze back up. Good. Again, we're going to keep the chest lifted. Yeah, that's it. Nice wide squats. Make sure the knees are following the toes. Squeeze your glutes to lift. Good. So get the inside of the thighs warmed up now. That's it. Keep bracing that core. Keep the chest lifted. Good. Okay. Let's try and get a little bit lower. Okay, and on this next one, we're going to stay down, take the elbows to the inside of your knee, and push them away to really open up those hips. Keep the weight in the heel. That's it, hold it here, tuck your tailbone under. Okay, we're going to take your left hand to the floor, this is going to support you, and then your right arm, we're going to open up through the chest, rotate your right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep the weight in your heels and keep your tailbone tucked under. Yeah, okay, bring that right hand down to the floor. And then we're going to lift up the left. So stack the shoulder blades one on top of the other, open up through the chest. Keep the weight in your heels. Yeah, okay, rotate that hand down. We're going to push our hips up and pull your chest down towards your thighs. Yeah, then we're going to take it over to the right leg. So pull your chest towards your right thigh. Take hold of the back of the leg and use it to pull yourself in. Imagine you're trying to get your forehead to your knee. Good, okay, release it back into the centre and then we're going to go over again to the left. Take hold of the back of that left calf. Pull your chest in towards your thigh. Yeah, okay, release back into the centre and then we're going to roll that spine up and step your legs in. Making sure you're still at the back of your mat. We're going to do one more roll down to get us down to the mat. So deep breath in and we'll roll it down. Hopefully you can touch the mat now without bending your knees. Walk it out. And we're going to drop the knees down. Take the toes together and slightly push away your knees. And then we're just going to rock back and forth. So push your palms into the mat and use that to push your weight over your hands. And then push the hips back. Weight into the feet behind you. That feels okay. You might want to take your knees out a little bit wider. Open up those hips. Yeah, okay. Bring your knees in so they're under the hips, hands under the shoulders. We're going to thread the needle. So take your right arm, thread it through your left, then we're going to open it out, stack one on top of the other. And again. So keep your eyes following your hand. We're trying to stack one shoulder on top of the other and get that nice straight line at the top. Just go as far as you can, depending on your range of motion. You could even add a weight if you wanted to make this a little bit more challenging. I said if. Yeah, okay, I've slightly lost count now, but give me two more. That's it, make sure you're really bracing that core and your back is neutral. Last one. Okay, place that right hand down under the right shoulder and then we're going to go on the left. So thread the needle. What we're doing here is we're just warming up the upper part of your back, your thoracic spine. And we're just opening up the chest for an exercise that we've got to come. That's it. Take your time with it, guys. Yeah, okay. Give me 2 more. Yeah, okay. What we're going to do next is going to come down onto our front. So lock those elbows in, lower your chest down, release the toes. Can you see me down here? Just about. Okay, I'm just going to move the laptop to make sure you guys can see. Okay, we're going to do some swimmers. So laying down on your front, push your hips into the floor, extend your arms above your head. We're going to look down towards our mat to keep the spine nice and long and keep it nice and neutral. Then opposite arm, opposite leg, we're just going to lift up, lower slowly back down. It doesn't have to be a big movement. It's just going to warm up that lower spine, lumbar spine. Try and keep your glutes squeezed. So opposite hand, opposite leg, move together. And as I say, it doesn't have to be a big movement, so just take it as high as you can. Make sure your hips stay in contact with the floor. They don't lift off. Yeah, that's it, guys. Give me 2 more on each side. Yeah, okay. So, our next exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to do a cobra into a push-up. There's going to be some options, so don't worry if you don't want to do the push-up. So, arms are above the head. We're going to bring your elbows around, squeeze your upper back, and your feet lift off the floor. Then we lower back down, and we tuck our toes under and push off. Lower down, arms overhead, squeeze, place it down, push up. Option, keep the knees on the floor and push up just like that. As long as you keep your weight forward over your palms, you'll still work the chest, you'll still work your shoulders, you'll still work your core. Okay, so we're going to go for 8 of those, guys. So starting with your arms above your head. Squeeze the back of those shoulders, lift the feet, place it down, tuck your toes under, push up, lower down, extend out. That's it, got a bit lost there. Good, well done, guys. Remember, you can stay on your knees if you want to, that's absolutely fine. That's it, really push your palms. Imagine you're pushing the floor away. Yeah, 2 more, guys. Last one, really get that squeeze. Push the floor away. Then bring your knees in, make a little space between your feet. Sit back on your heels and stretch your arms out in a child's pose. Yeah, deep breaths, guys. Breathe right into the back of the ribs. Okay, walk your hands over to the right. Get that nice stretch down the left hand side. Just take it to the first point of stretch, and then if it feels good, you can walk it over a little more. Good. Okay, walk your hands back to the centre, and then take them over to the left. And stretch down that right hand side. You can extend the stretch a little bit further once it's started to ease off, but don't force it. Good. Okay, walk your hands back to the centre, push yourself back up on your hands and knees. Bring those hands back under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Take a nice deep breath in and scoop your belly button up, round your back up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, drop your belly button down towards the mat and arch your back away. So cat to cow. This is just going to loosen off your back after we did those cobras. Good, a couple more. Good, last one. Then we're going to come onto our backs for the next exercise. So if you want to adjust your mat, do that now. I'm going to turn mine sideways. Good, guys. Actually, I'm going to come this way so I don't. Okay, so lying down on your back, take your hands to your hips, just walk your heels in towards your bum, hands on your hips. You're going to do a few pelvic tilts. So if you imagine your hips are a jug or a bucket of some kind, you're going to scoop the water up, so tip your hips up, and then you're going to tip it out. So rock your hips backwards and forwards. Good. Keep your knees in line with the toes. Might just bring the laptop down a little bit. You've all disappeared. Okay, so keep doing those pelvic tilts, and then I want you to find somewhere where it's neutral. That's it. Sorry, guys. So finding somewhere that's neutral. You're going to squeeze the knees together, bring the feet together. You can sit a little bit on your hands if you want to, if you need a bit of support for the back. You're going to bring the knees in, and then we're just going to gently push up towards the ceiling. So the hips lift a little bit, bring them down, and then extend out. So we're really working the lower abdominals. That's it. So nice and slow and controlled. The push-up part is the easy part. It's the lowering down slowly with control that's difficult. Then when you're extending your legs away, the lower you take them to the floor, the more you're going to work those lower abdominals as well. So a little bit up, extend away. That's it. Keep the knees together, keep the ankles together, make sure they don't fall apart. Good. And if you just want to rest your hands a little bit on your bum, just give your back a little bit of support, that's fine. But try and push your spine into the mat. Make sure it's not arching away. And make sure you're not traveling up and down your mat. Yeah, give me two more. Okay, bring your knees into your chest, just give them a hug. Massage your spine into the mat. Okay, so hands in front of the knees. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to gently rock up, but we don't want to place our feet on the floor. If we use too much momentum, we're going to fall forward and have to stop ourselves with our feet. But just a nice little gentle rocker, massaging the spine into the mat. Making sure you're not using too much momentum. You want to use your core. As it tuck your chin in slightly. You want to curve the spine. Yeah, you can stay here, or you can come over into a pillows pose, where you place your arms down, and you're going to take the legs up and over for anything to support your feet. And just take a few breaths here. That's it, deep breaths. Or just stay with the rocker. Yeah, okay, then slowly and carefully bring yourself back down to the mat. We're going to lengthen one leg away and hug one knee into your chest. Good, take that leg up for me. Walk your hands up to your ankle. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, pull that leg towards you. That's it, get a nice stretch on those hamstrings. Yours don't look as tight as mine, that's good. Okay, lengthen that leg away from you, hug your other knee into your chest, then when you're ready, take that leg up straight, walk your hands up towards your ankle, deep breath in, as you exhale, pull it towards you. That's it, if it's too much of a stretch, guys, you can bend the knee and bring that foot in, that's going to make it slightly easier for you. Good, okay, place that foot down, bring both your feet in. We're going to take your right foot and we're going to cross it over the left leg. And then I just want you with your left hand to push it backwards and forwards. If that feels okay, you can add a bit more pressure. Really try and push that knee away. And if that feels okay, we're going to reach in through the gap and pull the left leg towards you. That's it, guys. To get a nice hip flexor stretch here. That's it, deep breath, breathe into it. Good, pull it in a little bit further once that stretch has eased off. Good, okay, release that leg down. You're going to take the left foot over the right knee now. And then you're just going to push it back and forth. Just as a little tester, and then if that feels okay, add a bit more pressure. Actively push that knee away. Depending on how tight your hips are, that'll either feel great, might feel absolutely fine, or it'll be a little bit painful. If it is a little bit painful, just gently push it back and forth to make sure the hips are warm before you try and add any more pressure. Okay, if that feels okay, we're going to reach in through the gap. We're going to pull the right leg towards us. Keep your shoulders on the mat, pressing your spine into the mat. That's it, so get a nice stretch on the hip flexor there on that left hand side. Might feel it in your glute a little bit as well. Guys, enjoy that stretch. Good, okay, arm cross and release. We're going to come over onto our sides now. Bend both knees, stack one knee on top of the other, one ankle on top of the other. Take your arm out. So your left arm is on top, or whichever arm is on top, whichever way you're facing, doesn't really matter. We're just going to open up through that top arm, making sure we're following it with our eyes. So you don't have to touch the floor behind you, it's not a requirement, and it's not about how far you can get it. Just keeping it a nice smooth motion, just to really open up your chest. Stretch out the shoulders. Good, nice deep breath while you're doing this, guys. Okay, give me one more. And then we're going to roll over onto the other side. I'm going to come and do it this way so I don't turn my back on you. That's it. So knees bent, stack one on top of the other, on your side. Stack, bring your arms out. Open up that top arm. You can just see lots of hands lying around. Yeah, that's it, guys. Yeah, just a couple more. Then we're going to roll over onto your front. Okay, bring your elbows under your shoulders. And we're just going to lift the chest and take a deep breath in. So you should feel a nice stretch on your lower spine. If that feels okay, walk your hands in and straighten the arms. That's it, nice deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to lower down. So this is just like a less intense version of what we did before. Just as we're starting to wind down now. Good, and exhale, drop it down. If you want to keep your elbows bent and just come up to here, that's absolutely fine. Do what feels good for your spine. Good, bring it down. Okay, we're going to come up into a plank position. And then we're going to bring one knee up. We're going to take it out to about 45 degrees. Make sure the knee is in line with the hip. Drop your back knee, release the toe. And then we're going to stay here for a nice glute stretch. If that feels okay, you can come down onto your elbows. That just makes it a little bit more intense. Make sure your weight stays in the middle and you're not rolling over to one side or the other. Okay, that's it, guys. Breathe into it. And if you want more, we can add a quad stretch in here, or we can do it separately. So if it feels okay, bend the knee, bring your back foot in, and pull the heel in towards your bum. Be careful with your knee here, keep it in line with your hip. Or, if that's not okay, what we can do is we can just come onto our front and do the same thing, and then push your hips into the floor to feel that stretch down the front of the leg, down the quad. That's your option. Still get a really nice quad stretch there. Making sure that we protect those knees. Okay, whichever stretch you're doing, release it, come back into your plank. And then we're going to go again on the other side. So we'll do our glute stretch first. That's it, so hip in line with the knee. Back knee is on the floor and your toes released. And then if it feels okay, we're going to come down onto our forearms. That's it, keep the weight in the middle. Good, okay, walk your hands under your shoulders. Bend the knee, bring your heel in towards your bum. Reach for it and pull it in. Try and take the weight off the front palm, see if we can hold it. Or step it out into a plank, lower down onto your front, and just bend the knee, bring the heel in towards your bum, and pull it in that way. Push the hips into the mat, you'll still get a really good quad stretch down the front of that leg. Well done, Helen. Everyone else has disappeared. I can just do some feet in the air. Yeah, okay, release that. We're going to swing our legs round, come into a seated position wherever you're comfortable. So take the soles of the feet together. We're just going to flap our knees. Just warming up those hip flexors again. And you can stay here. You can add a bit of pressure to push the knees away from each other to really open up the hips. Or you can lean forward or do a bit of a combination of both. Make sure your sit bones are still in contact with the mat. If you're not sure what I mean about sit bones, you take your hand under your bum cheek and sort of roll in a circle. The bone that pokes you in the hand, that's what I want to stay in contact. So if you've got a lot of fat on your bum like me, you might need to pull it out of the way. Good, and release that, guys. Okay, so sit cross-legged or however is comfortable. We're going to take your left hand out to the side, come over, up and over with that right arm. If you can, bring the elbow to the mat, but remember we don't want that side there lifting off the mat. We want to keep both sit bones in contact and ideally equal pressure through both sit bones. So you're just getting a really nice stretch down that right hand side. If it's too much, keep the arms straight, then it's not quite so far to reach. Yeah, now swap it over. So right hand comes down to your right hand side, left arm comes up and over. That's it, try and keep the chest open rather than closing it off and rotating too much. If it's okay, bring the elbow down. But what we don't want is that left bum cheek lifting. Yeah, that's it, guys, breathe into it. Good, okay, we're gonna stretch it up. So link your fingers together, turn your palms away, stretch it up. I look like I've got no head at the moment. That's it. And then we're going to lower our arms down to about shoulder height. Turn your palms towards you. Take your chin to your chest. So we're really stretching out the back of the shoulders. That's it. Pull your belly button in and really round through the shoulders. Okay, we're going to counter stretch that. So we're going to take our arms apart, hands apart, sorry. Link them behind your back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We're going to open up through the chest. Look up towards the ceiling. And pull those hands down. Good, okay, release. We're just going to do some wrist stretches now because we've spent quite a lot of time in plank. So take your arm out, pull your fingers back towards you. Just gently. Good, okay, release that. Turn your palms to face me. That's it, so we're rotating on through the outside and then pull your fingers back towards you. That's it, so you get a nice stretch up the forearm there. Again, don't force it. If it doesn't feel okay, just take it to the first point of stretch. Or just rolling the wrists can feel quite nice if you wanted to do that instead. Okay, let's do the other side. So hands out, bend the wrists, pull your fingers back. Good, okay, turn it round. Palm towards me, pull fingers back. That's it, get a nice stretch down the forearm. Good, okay, release that, give them a little roll if it feels nice. Okay, you're just going to stretch up the traps and the neck now. Tilt your head to one side. Gently apply some pressure. Don't force it. That's it, breathe into it. Okay, release the pressure and then roll it into the center. So looking down at the floor, both hands to the back of the head, gently press it down. Just stretching down the back of the neck. Deep breaths while you're here. Okay, release that. Tilt your head to the other side. Gently press it down. That's it, good. Press it down. Good. When you're ready, release that pressure. Take both hands down to the floor. Just look up towards the ceiling, tilt your head back. Good. Nice deep breath in. And lower your chin down as you exhale. And you're all done, guys. Well done.